DreAllDay.com.
Dre Baldwin, DreAllDay.com. You got to remember about this life that we in right here, or this career that you in, or this business that you started, or whatever you doing. All of it. It's a long race, man. This whole thing is a long race. It's not just what's happening in the moment. It's not just the beginning. It's not the middle. It's not even the ending. Some people say it's not how you start, it's how you finish. It is how you finish, but the beginning matters, the middle matters, the end matters. All of it matters. The whole overall race matters. The whole body of work matters. Everything that you do matters. And that's why consistency is really the most valuable thing. I mean, if you're trying to get hired for a job, or you want somebody to trust you for something, or you want somebody to buy into something that you're doing, number one thing they want to know is, are you consistent? Can I trust you? I know that you're going to deliver on a consistent basis. Not, are you good today, or were you good yesterday, or are you promising to be good in the future, right? But can you deliver on a consistent basis? Are you good all the time? There's some athletes out there who show up for the big games, but where was you? I mean, you don't show up for practice, and you ain't show up for the game that doesn't seem that important in business. I mean, you show up when a client want to spend the biggest amount of money with you, but what about the everyday clients who might not spend that much money, but they consistently showing up to buy from you? Are you giving your best to those people? See, in life, that overall race, a lot of people can't win that overall race simply because they don't have the attention span, they don't have the consistency, they don't have the discipline. They don't have the mindset to stick to it over the long run. And again, it's also mental toughness, because we know in a long race, you ain't gonna feel great the whole time. Like, you're not gonna be in first place the whole time. Everything's not gonna be popping off for you the way that you want it to pop off all the time when you're in a long race. There's gonna be times when somebody else gets ahead of you. There's gonna be times in a race where you might get cramps in your legs. There's gonna be times in a race where it's cold as shit and you're uncomfortable. It's hot as shit and you need something to drink. You like feel like you're done, but you got another 10 miles to run. And I finished 2 marathons. So I know what that's about. I know a lot of people like to use the marathon as a metaphor. And, rest in peace to Nipsey Hussle. People like to use marathon as a metaphor, but a lot of motherfuckers ain't never even ran no fucking marathon. But they like to talk about it. And finishing a marathon is way more mindset than it is physical ability. That's why the marathon's a good metaphor, even if you didn't run one. Because you could train all you want. I mean, it's a select few. There's a small percentage of people who train so well and they so real with it, what they're running. Like, they run the way some motherfuckers play ball, they run. So they got that kind of shape where they can run a marathon. It really is physical. They train for it. Those like the cats, when Nike was training these dudes to try to break the marathon record, those guys, professional runners, yeah, it's physical for them. Everybody else, all the rest of us, including me, even though I did 2 marathons, it wasn't physical, it was mental, because I ain't no professional runner. I mean, I run, but I ain't professional at it. So it was more mindset. Like, once you get to about 15 miles, that last 11, that's all mindset. Like, 'cause the body then said, all right, we good. Now what you gonna do? You gotta be able to push yourself to finish that thing. That's why they say, any of you who's ever run or read about a marathon, they tell you, look, you don't even have to train for the whole 26.2 miles. That's how long a marathon is. You ain't gotta train, you could train for like 18, you could train for like 20. You don't ever have to run 26 miles in practice to get ready for a marathon, because when you get in that race, it's really not about what you physically can do. It's about your mindset. It's about the adrenaline from the day of the race. You're gonna have other people who are running next to you, in front of you, behind you, and it's just the mindset of, I'm gonna complete this marathon. Right? You don't run marathons for fun. You run a marathon to challenge yourself. So in life, in general, that long race is way more mindset. The start of it is physical. The start of it is, all right, you got some backup, you got some people helping you out, you got the right information, you got the knowledge, you read the books, you took the online course, you went to school, you got a degree. All of those is physical. Those are the resources. And that can help some people get an advantage. But to finish the race and where you come in at the end of that race, is how you approach things mentally, because eventually the resource is going to run out. Eventually your legs get tired. Eventually you start cramping up. Eventually you hungry. Eventually you ain't got no electrolytes left. Eventually you like, yo, I just want to go the fuck home. Are you going to finish the race? And finishing that overall race, even if you start without the same resources as everybody else, when they start getting tired, when they start slowing down, when they realize that they're going to have to dig within themselves and they can't turn to any other resources to finish, that's when you could pass everybody. That's when you could take the lead. That's when you could finish. And listen, a lot of times in life, I mean, we think about it, a lot of times in life, the spectators, they only standing at the finish line, right? Any of you ever ran a marathon or any kind of long race? It ain't got to be a marathon, 10K. Where are all the spectators at? They standing at the finish line to cheer whoever wins. Whoever finishes the race, when you cross the line, you got a bunch of people standing there clapping. They have no idea, and they was there at the beginning when they watched everybody take off, but then they stand at the end just waiting to see who finishes. They don't know what happened in the middle. They don't know who had what resources. They don't know any of that shit. All they know is who they saw cross that finish line. So for all of y'all out there who's, concerned, or sometimes people bitching about the fact that you don't have certain resources or things not working in your favor and people not helping you out, listen, at the end of all that, when you get done doing all that, the only thing people gonna remember about you is if they saw you cross that line or not, because they ain't see the middle of the race. They don't know what resource you started with. They ain't even gotta know your fucking name. All they know is they saw you cross that line and you get your little medal and you take your pictures and all that shit, and you know in your mind that you finished that race. That's really the only thing it comes down to, because, look, again, you run a race, most people is fucking anonymous. We don't know who they are. So are you ready to finish the race? I mean, you already in the race, in case you didn't know. All right, this is not something that you like, all right, yeah, I'm gonna start running the marathon. You already in the motherfucking marathon. Some of you motherfuckers is running and you still going. Some of you a little bit tired, you cramping up, and you walking right now. You gotta walk through this 2-mile stretch and then you can start running again. That's all right, as long as you keep going and you plan on finishing. Some of you motherfuckers then stop running, you ain't walking, you sitting on the fucking sideline, thinking about running, thinking about finishing, complaining about the fact that you tired and you ain't really got the energy. Listen, man, the marathon's going. All right, and at some point, again, for those of you who never ran a marathon, they tell you, if you read the little rules and details, they tell you got like 7 hours to complete this race. All right, 7-8 hours. Then after 8 hours, we going all the barricades and the streets that we blocked off and all that stuff. We taking those down and we gonna let cars ride on the road again. All right, so you're gonna have to finish on the sidewalk. All right, you might not even get a medal because we gonna be gone. They gonna have taken the tables away and all the volunteers went home by the time you finally finish, if you decide to get back in the game. So the point that I'm making here is you gotta keep going. Whether you gotta walk, you gotta crawl, you got to keep advancing. As soon as you stop advancing, you might as well drop out of the race. And you already in it. Again, if you didn't know, you are already in it. So, act like you in a fucking race and keep going. Work on your game. Dre all day.